When worlds collide. Written in the stars is a message of doom for this, our world. And now in the most shattering experience the screen has ever given you, Paramount tells what could happen within your lifetime when worlds collide. An astronomer checks and double-checks his horrifying discovery. A distant star racing through space toward an inevitable collision with this planet. The United Nations meet in emergency session. All conflicts pale before this threat from another world.
If you wait until the danger is visible to the naked eye, it will be too late to escape.
High on a mountaintop, an army of scientists work desperately to build this giant rocket, this modern Noah's Ark, to carry a few picked survivors of our doomed civilization to a new life on another world, reaching the heights of self-sacrifice, the depths of the animal lust for survival as they fight to be among the few who can be saved.
Let's take the ship away from them! Come on!
Fighting among themselves, fighting against time, as doomsday is upon them.
I think all you scientists are crackpots. Nothing is going to happen.
When worlds collide, you'll see the most amazing, awe-inspiring scenes ever put on film. The forces of nature unleashed in all their terrifying force. Tremendous tidal waves smashing New York City. The molten fires from the bowels of the earth gushing out to consume our world.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to day 30 of 31 Days of Monsters. We got one more day left. I'm your host, Graham Nolan. Today we're talking about this wonderfully classic science fiction movie, When Worlds Collide. Man, 1951 was a year. It's the year that ushered in the alien invasion. There had never been any movies about that. And yet in 1951, we had three of them. We had, the first one was The Man from Planet X. Then we had a couple months later, The Thing from Another World, which we will be ending our 31 days with tomorrow. And then the third one was not When Worlds Collide. Oh my God, it's the one with Gord, the robot. Not This Island Earth. I'm drawing a blank. I knew I should have wrote it down. But you guys in the chat know which one I'm talking about. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. The Day the Earth Stood Still. There we go. I got it before the chat did. Whew. Pulled that one out. So those three movies, Man from Planet X, The Thing from Another World, and The Day the Earth Stood Still. And then you have this one here in Technicolor. The others were all black and white. And you had this beautiful Technicolor sci-fi George Pal film. And it said in the trailer that he had done Destination Earth before this, which was trying to be, that movie was trying to tell things in a scientific way, less fiction in the science. And I think he was trying to do the same thing here. You see human behavior is really well represented here, I think. How when faced with all of the nightmare ahead of them, they band together, or some of them band together. But then when it comes down to push come to shove at the very end, we see, people revolting, doing anything to get into that lifeboat. And if you look closely, that you saw that's the sequence in the trailer when the guy says, "Let's take the ship," and everybody's like, "Yeah, kill the monster," all screaming and yelling. Well, the guy in the front there was Stuart Whitman in his very first movie role. So next time you watch that, he's that good-looking guy in the front. That's Stuart Whitman. This has got Barbara Rush in it, who gorgeous young actress at this time. She was also in It Came from Outer Space, another great sci-fi film of the 50s. And the color, the special effects are really something in this when you consider when it was. And it's really a big story they're telling. If you go small when you're trying to tell a big story, it feels cheap. But when they show you, New York City with the floods in it, it's like The Day After Tomorrow. That film was similar to this in that it was an end of the world type thing, and it showed the giant tidal waves and the cities getting overrun, and in that case frozen and all that kind of stuff. Spielberg wanted to remake this, and it eventually became, I think it was Armageddon. Is that the Spielberg one? There's two of those disaster asteroid films that came out. It's the one with Bruce Willis. I think it's Armageddon. And that's what it became. There was that the giant comet was hurtling towards Earth, and they got to go up there and blow it up. And so they haven't actually really remade this. Although I think I think that is it The Day After Tomorrow, or there was another attempt at remaking this that had John Cusack in it, and I think that Kino Review says Deep Impact. No, Kino Review says Armageddon. Those are the two movies. Yeah. It's one of those two, whichever one Spielberg was producing. That's the one that it was. The one with John Cusack is very much like this. You have these lifeboats, although they don't go to another planet. It is more like the Noah's Ark, where they create these giant ships for people and animals to get on. And everybody's doing everything to get into it. We have a Star Trek reference in here also, because Sidney Stanton, the pain in the ass who's in the wheelchair, that's John Hoyt. And we know him, of course, from the very first Star Trek pilot, The Cage. He was Dr. Boyce. He didn't make the cut into the second trailer, or the second pilot, nor the TV show, but he was the first doctor on the Enterprise. Been around, been in a million different things. But this is I really love this movie. John Dare plays the heroic, pilot who's supposed to be from South Africa. I don't know why they chose him to be from South Africa. The actor's from Pittsburgh, I think. So what the reasoning for that was. I think it's funny how, everything, every little ounce has to be accounted for and all this kind of stuff. And they find this little kid and they're like, all right, you can come too. You haven't done anything yet, but you can come. Oh, and you found a dog? Well, you can bring the dog. There's a lot of people and a lot of dogs and a lot of children that aren't going to make it on this thing, but they keep making exceptions, good for me, not good for thee, I guess. But you know what? That's human behavior. That's the real thing. So it doesn't really bother me. The very end, that obvious painting that they show as a background on the planet was really only a temporary painting that was supposed to be used in the production. Wasn't supposed to be in the film. They were supposed to build a set for that, or a miniature, if you will, so that it would look more 3D. And I think they ran out of time, and they ran out of time or ran out of money and couldn't put that in. So that's like the one really negative downfall as far as like the review or the special effects go, is that shitty painting when they get to the planet. But so I'm giving this one a solid 8.5. Very, very good. I watch it multiple times. I hope you guys liked it too. Let's see what folks in the chat are saying. Rick 1662 says, hello, enjoyed this movie. A delivery guy gets one of the 40 seats on an end of the world rocket only to end up landing on a cartoon planet that has some kind of structure off in the background. He thought it was fun and the special effects were good. Dan Genovese is here. Leg kick 1. JP Roca. Yeah, he agrees it was a fun one. Dragon Dancer thought the same thing. Responding to Rick 1662 about the cartoon planet. Rob Fellows is here. Dragon Dancer could have drawn a better background on the planet, and I'm no artist. It was very flat looking. It was very flat. Chris Juliano is here. Dr. Mask is watching last night's replay. Oh, excellent. Marcus Calgrew, the birthday boy, is here. It was Marcus's birthday yesterday. Vinzinger, aka Otaku, aka the Weeb Pillar. I'm an artist and I still need to learn to draw backgrounds. Tom Tuttle says this is why I always carry collision, not just liability. Bloody Drake is here. Dr. Mask reminds us all, you know what to do. Escape from Monster Island. Do it now. Do it now if you want to live. Or after the show. But do it now. You can listen to me while you're doing that. Delaware Comics Dude says nearly Halloween, folks. Yep, we got one more day. Dragon Dancer says, I like the movie, but I really question how the incoming planet and star would really affect the Earth. Yeah, well, obviously, if it's a star, it's going to incinerate the Earth. The incoming planet, probably would attack gravitational fields and cause problems there. I just can't understand how a star is shooting through space with with the gigantic gravitational field a star has, and this new planet is revolving around that star. Why, when it comes into our universe, if it's a larger star than Sol, our sun, why the planets just don't, like a magnet, be attracted to the stronger gravitational pull of that star. But I'm no physicist, so. And neither were these writers. Hey Graham, I want to ask if you ever consider doing motion comics for your comics. Not really. I find them distracting. Either animate something or make it still and let the reader animate it in their mind. Not saying the technology won't evolve to where that would be really cool, but I did some work for Graphic India that did that kind of stuff. So I had to do special panels that they would use to superimpose over the digital thing so that it would animate. It was a lot of work, and I don't know that the payoff is there for that with the technology that we have. But a good question. Ellie, the final metamorphosis says I was typing, but then you got it. LOL. Not sure what he's referring to. Rob Fellows has his quote of the day. Looks like I've got myself a better offer. Randall sets his sights on Joyce. Yeah, he was like a dog, wasn't he? That's right. Dr. Bellows was in here. Hayden Rourke played I Dream of Jeannie, the pipe-smoking scientist in the beginning of the movie who discovered the two worlds heading to Earth. Yep. Kino Review says, hail to the chat and good afternoon. And while we're talking about classic monsters, go check out Joe Frankenstein, The Eye of Ra. There it is. Both links are in the description of the show too. So if you don't get it in the chat, you can go to the description of the show on YouTube and get both those links. I just saw another panel that Anthony did. It's just killer. Where we've got our character Golgotha, who is this like mummified character. We're getting to see how he became a mummy, and it's just wonderful body language of him up against a wall with I think a spear, in the foreground, and he's up like this, and then behind him is this like woman holding a knife. Really, really great stuff. So check that out, guys, if you like Frankenstein stories and classic monsters, which I'm assuming you do since you are here. Delaware Comics Dude says the beautiful Barbara Rush passed away recently. Well, she had a good run then. Graham, did you see the Universal's Dark Universe monster animatronics? It looks amazing. Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, and the Wolfman, among others. They look amazing. Yeah, I was unimpressed. I thought the animation looked really great, but what bothers me is that Universal decided not to cut a deal with the actors' licensing. So Frankenstein does not look like Boris Karloff. Dracula certainly doesn't look like Bela Lugosi, and the Wolfman doesn't look like Lon Chaney Jr. And I think that's a ripoff for those artists. Because those are the images we all know and love, and to create these images that they used here, I think is just a way of being cheap and not paying out to do it right. Rob Fellows says, never mentioned, but surely Sidney Stanton in the wheelchair was a big influence on Mr. Burns in The Simpsons. Could be. Kino Reviews was doing his homework here, and he's double checking everything at the moment. I think the pilot in this film kind of influenced Hal Jordan a little bit. Could be. Says Spielberg wasn't involved in either movie. Must have been something else you were thinking about. Independence Day. No, it's not Independence Day. Yeah, let's go to IMDb. Worlds Collide. And I know they mentioned it in here when I was doing some research. Let us see. Did you know trivia? Okay, here we go. It's the first thing that comes up. Screenwriter Bruce Joel Rubin saw this film as a 10-year-old and cited it as the beginning of the emergence of philosophy in his life. In the book, the dialogue, an interview with screenwriter Bruce Joel Rubin from 2007, he explains that right after he and a boyhood friend saw the film, they spent hours discussing the end of the world. Rubin mentions this memory while explaining that Steven Spielberg approached him to do the screenplay for a remake of When Worlds Collide, and that it eventually evolved into Deep Impact, with Rubin credited as one of its two writers. So there we go. Marcus loves the older movies better than the modern ones. Well, I definitely have a soft spot for the older movies, particularly when it comes to sci-fi, 50s sci-fi. I just love that stuff. Chris says, too bad they can't remaster the ending. Yeah, that would be a little jarring, I think, but, what are you going to do? Rob Fell is absolutely correct. The movie is based on a book which had a sequel after Worlds Collide. Yes, those pyramids and the other things were aliens, it turns out. That's cool. Rick 1662 got some homework today. Watching all three The Thing movies, ending with the original one. Also, Cat's Paw for tonight's landing party. Correct. Which is apropos since that was a Halloween episode of Star Trek. If we die, we die. Let's just go out to the new planet without checking the atmosphere. Well, you know what? They had nowhere else to go. They were out of gas, and they were on that planet. They were either going to die in that ship of suffocation and starvation, or they were going to open up the doors and get it over with quick. So I'll give that one a pass. Really had no choice. Motion comics take so much time to produce. Trailers are easier to create for campaigns. Yeah, true. Oh, Kino Review says, speaking from experience, did a motion comic trailer for Radio Free America back in 2011. Yes, corporations are the worst. They bring out the worst aspects in people because the bottom line is everything. For the investors, we got to get the bottom line. Yeah, we're going to screw all the actors that created this thing that everybody knows and loves. If the makeup sucked, if Jack Pierce's makeup sucked and the actors sucked, we wouldn't even be talking about it 80 years later. But we are, because of those images and those actors, and they should be compensated, and they should use them for everything that Universal does when you're talking about the classic monsters. Rick asks, am I going to offer signed books of the ABC covers? I have signed ones of the other covers. Would like this to add to the collection. Did I do a signed version in the last one? I'll go back and look. If I did, I may have to consider that. Which, by the way, we've been waiting on the last 12 CGC books to come in. There was some that were graded bad and some that were damaged. So I had to send those back, and we've been waiting on the hurricane hit and everything else. But we finally got those back today or yesterday evening. And Julie has gone and shipped all of those out. So now everything from the Return to Monster Island campaign has been filled. So if you've been waiting on one of those CGC books, you should have gotten a tracking number today, this morning, actually, and it's on its way. Chris Juliano like Cat's Paw. I'm surprised that they didn't send a probe out to the planet to find out if it is actually inhabitable before getting everyone's hopes up. Well, this is 1951. The whole idea that they can even build a rocket is that's our science fiction right there. For them to actually spend the time to build a probe and get it, it's yeah, I give that one a pass. Huh. Johnny Rando says new neighbors moved into a few houses down. They have a Great Dane named Bane. Thought you might enjoy that. That's cool. I hope he doesn't break you. Wolfman looks like the 2010 version. Creature from the Black Lagoon looks cool. Frank is decent. Dracula looks bad. Yeah, I agree with all that. The creature, when he's moving, the little gill things look a little rubbery, flapping away. Dracula just looks bad. Frankenstein looks bad too. He looks animatronic, you know, in the way he's moving and his face. I don't like the look on his face. Marcus Kelleher says, I did a comic pitch with this plot called New Earth. I just remembered. Cool. His Rottweiler will protect him from Bane. Beautiful dog, though. Very nice. Very nice. All right, gang. I think I've covered everybody. Surprisingly for this, it seems like these old movies don't bring in the same crowd. We only have 53 people watching the show right now. It seems like the modern ones get more audience in there, but I don't care. I'm not making any money on these shows anyway. So I love the classics, and there's no better classic than tomorrow's The Thing from Another World. So that's how we're going to hit up or finish up our Halloween show tomorrow at noon. And don't forget, the landing party goes on tonight at 8. We're starting season 2 of Star Trek: The Original Series with our crew. I think everybody will be there tonight. And it's Cat's Paw. So we're entering season 2 with Cat's Paw. That's going to be great. Anything else? Let me think. If you didn't get your email yesterday, these ultra rare original 1998 retailer incentive covers for Monster Island have been repriced. I realized that I had priced it on the after campaign price. That's going to be on the website. I had them priced at $500, and so everybody's been refunded who got it for that. And now it's down at the price it's supposed to be for the campaign, because the backers are supposed to get the best deals. So it's down in half. It's now $250. There's only 40. Well, there was 40, but a bunch of people have snapped them up now. There's only less than 40 of these available and left, and certainly CGC'd. So it's the ultimate rare Monster Island book. So if you're into that stuff, go check it out and grab one before they're all gone. Otherwise, if they don't all go, they'll be up on the website for twice the price. So Chris asked if they're all 9.8. I sent this one in as they've all been in a box since 1998, an unopened box. So I pulled one out and sent this in, and it came back as a 9.8. There's never a guarantee. You just never know how these guys are going to grade stuff. But as I said, they've never been read. They've never been open. They've been in a box since 1998. So I suspect they should come back at good grades. But again, it's a 30-year-old book. You never know if they see a little rust on a staple or something like that, whether they're gonna ding it or not. But it's still cool, and it'll still be rare either way, whether it's a 9.8, a 9.6, or a 9. But there shouldn't be anything lower than that. I'd be surprised if there's anything lower than a 9.8, to be honest. But I've been surprised before by these guys. So, all right, my friends, I will see you with bells on tomorrow, because I'll be talking about my all-time favorite movie. So until then, you have a great rest of your day, and maybe we'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.